Hello, today we're going to build a clock. We're going to code it in Scratch so that it works and we can practice telling time. The first thing we need to do is get these hands to turn around the clock. So what kind of blocks would allow us to turn? If you notice that this block says turn right on it, then you're paying attention. Now if I have this block and just click on it, I can see it moving around the clock. That's working, but it doesn't look smooth like a clock does when a clock turns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix it so that this turns nicely. To do that, instead of having it turn 15 degrees, I'm going to have it turn 1 degree at a time, just like a second hand on the clock would turn. And I'm going to ask it to repeat that. How many times does a second hand go around a clock? 60 times. Good. So if I do this, let's watch what happens. Did you see it? No? What am I missing? You're right. I have to go to the events and I have to click on when green flag clicked. I can't start my program unless I have the first block, the hat block, to start my program. So now I'm going to try it. There we go. Repeat 60 times. Turn 1 degree. Oh, it only went that far. Is that enough? What could I do to change it? What if I change this to 5 degrees? Would that work? It's still coming up short. So your first task is to make that hand go all the way around until it reaches the 12. You can change this number or this number, but when you're finished, you should be able to have the second hand go around the clock and back to the 12. In order to watch it happening a little slower, I suggest that you go to Control and grab a wait block, and I'm going to have it wait 0.06 seconds. Let's see what that looks like. That looks a bit slower. I can kind of follow it a bit better now. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to Sprite 2. I need to make this hand move as well. So when I make this hand move, I'm going to do some similar things as I did with the other. This time, I'm going to not forget my flag. I'm going to go to motion. When my program starts, I want this hand to be at the top. So I'm going to go to X0, Y0. And I think after that, I'm going to repeat. And let's see, how many times do I want it to go around? A lot of times. Maybe trying to think of how many degrees a circle has. Does anyone know how many degrees a circle has? 360. Excellent. So 360 times, I want to turn. How far should I turn? 1 degree. This is the slower hand after all. And maybe I'll wait a whole second so I can just watch the hand go a little slower. Let's see what happens. How does that look? Okay. So your first goal is to make this sprite go around slower. Or sorry, to make it go all the way around the clock. And we have our second sprite moving at a much slower pace. Okay. When my program is finished, or when I want to restart, I'm going to press space key. And when I press space key, what I want to happen is I want this sprite to point in direction 90 degrees. That's the way it was pointing at the beginning of the program. 90 degrees in Scratch means pointing straight up. So if I press that now, it hasn't gone back to where I want it to yet. So did I make a mistake? 90 degrees means pointing to the right. My choices are turning to the right, turning to the left. I can go down. So what did I do wrong? How do I make my sprite point straight up? What should I select? Good. Now I need to take this code and I can drag it over and drop it into sprite 1. Watch this. The code came over to sprite 1. So now when I press the space key, both the hands go back up to the top of the clock. Excellent. So take some time, work on this sprite number 1, and see if you can get it to go around the clock slower. Let me know when you're finished. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to show you now how we would make this sprite turn just the right amount. So when I do this, I want it to go around 60 times, but I also want it to do that a lot of times. So because I'm going to add an extra function, instead of just having it repeat a whole bunch of times, I'm going to have it repeat and repeat. And I'm going to put in 60 and 60. And I'm nesting these repeat functions because I want to add something extra in. So if I go to looks and I want to switch the backdrop, I can bring that in. And that's in the first repeat loop. So nesting the loops allows me to have something happen a whole bunch of times. And that thing that's happening is also happening a bunch of times. So it's two ideas in one. So I'm going to have the backdrop switch every time it goes around. And to make it move slower, 5 degrees moves fast. I'm going to change it to 1 degree. There. Now I have more control. If I want it to go faster, I can change this to 2 degrees. And that lets me control how fast that hand turns. Now, what I want to happen is once it's gone all the way around the clock, I would like it to switch backdrops. If I make it 2 degrees, it'll go around the clock twice. If I make it 1 degree, it'll go around the clock once, and after, the background will change. Of course, the background can only change if I have a different background. So let's go to the stage now and set that up. I'm going to switch this back to 1 degree because each time it goes around the clock, I want the clock to change. So now on the stage, I'm going to go to backdrops. I clicked on stage, and now I'm clicking on backdrops. So as you can see, I've got the blue sky. Backdrop 1 is not very interesting, so I'm just going to delete it. Now I'm going to add a new backdrop, and I'm going to click on Choose Backdrop from Library. What might be a nice second image? How about this beautiful beach? I'm going to click on that and click OK. And now the background should change. So I'm going to click back on Scripts and see if my program works. I've changed one thing, and it's always good to change one thing at a time before testing your program. Going back to Sprite 1, pressing the space key, and now the green flag. Oh, the background changed instantly. So over here it says switch backdrop to blue sky. I'm going to change that to next backdrop. Let's try that now. Whoa, is that doing what we want it to do? I hope your answer is no. If your answer is yes, you must really, really like things that change really fast. So I'm going to stop it. And I'm going to say, what could be wrong? Why is my background switching so quickly? Maybe I want my background to change only after the hand's gone all the way around the clock once. So 60 times it's going around the clock, and then I want it to change. 60 times it's going around the clock. So after it does that, I want it to change then. See how that's different? The repeat 60 times going around the clock once is by itself here. After this happens, then we're going to switch to backdrop. Let's test it and see if it works. Okay, we're getting closer. So your challenge is, can you change it so that the backdrop changes only after the second hand has gone all the way around the clock? And when you're practicing telling time, this will become the minute hand and this will become the hour hand.